Welcome, friends, to the third and final session on understanding your customer in the digital age. I am Sanjay Bhattacharjee, and today I am going to explain what customer perception is all about. In the previous two sessions, we have learned who your customer is, how they decide to buy or not to buy from you, and the digital tools to measure and understand such decisions better. In this session, I will also share 8 different tools to measure customer perception and use the findings to your advantage. So, what is customer perception? Customer perception is the reality of how customers view your brand, products, and services. Your customers might be switching to a competitor without letting you know the issues they've had with your product or service. So, if you want to retain customers, it is really important to know how they perceive your product or service. Let's look at those areas which customers come across to form their perceptions about you. Brand, prices, whether costly, reasonable, or value for money. Structure, whether faulty or not. Usability, whether easy to use or complicated. Five senses. For example, one customer may find a chocolate to be sweet and the other can find it to be bitter. Customer service, whether customer friendly or not. Quality, whether premium, good, or of poor quality. Promotion, the type of advertisements and communication that you send. You may be thinking that this is a long list of areas that you will need to examine to understand customer perceptions. But the truth is that you cannot avoid them if you really want to retain your customers and build a strong brand. So, let me take you through the 8 tools to measure customer perception about your products and services. The first tool that is often used by companies or businesses is called Brand Track. It is a scientific study done by professional agencies such as AC Nielsen, IMRB, etc., that examine all aspects of your brand. A large sample of customers or prospects who could be your future customers is selected across relevant markets, and surveys are done through face to face interviews. Such studies are done to grow your existing businesses, or if you are acquiring a new business, or if you are undertaking a merger of two businesses. Let's delve a bit deeper into some of the areas that a brand track examines. Buying trends, what customers are purchasing currently and what they intend to purchase in future. Share of wallet, if a customer spends rupees 100 on all related products and services, how much of this does she spend on your product? Brand imagery, the image that people have in their minds about your product or service, be it tech savvy, good quality, luxurious, etc. Purchase process, the channels or distribution through whom they buy your products. Brand status, the awareness that people have about your product or service when they are asked about your brand or asked about similar products in the category. Brand consideration is the overall familiarity and comfort of the customers with your brand. Lastly, brand equity is calculated based on customers' response to which is their favorite brand, the brand that they would recommend and they would be more than willing to pay higher prices for. The second tool is sentiment analysis. A lot of conversations happen in social media where people comment on news items or advertisements or sometimes on their experiences with your product or service. Sentiment analysis is about discovering what people are saying about you online. You need to carefully monitor every day what is posted about you online in Facebook, Twitter, customer complaint websites, news websites, of course, if your product is newsworthy, and analyze them. You can get the sources where you have been mentioned, analyze the comments as positive or negative. Often people send complaints through social media to get their problems resolved. You could monitor whether they have been resolved at your backend. You could also get category wise reports. The tools that can be used are Radian6 or Adobe Social, which are paid tools, and you can also use Hootsuite, which has a paid and free version with limited features. An important approach to understanding customer perceptions that I have personally found to be very effective is touchpoint analysis. You will need to go deep into the details of how customers interact with each touchpoint and the value that they get from them. Value is created when there is a series of positive experiences with each interaction, be it with your telecallers who interact through phone calls, or your customer service desk or physical offices, or even your distributors or suppliers, your brokers or advisors. your digital assets that customers interact with, such as your website, mobile application, etc. And last but not the least, the advertisements, promotion, and all the communication that you send to customers. It is the sum of all customers' interactions with your company over time that ultimately creates or destroys your brand value. And hence, you must measure each of these areas individually to understand customer perceptions and improve them. The third tool is one which is used to measure whether your customers are satisfied with the telephonic conversations that you have, be it an individual who is calling or a large scale call center employed to address customer queries or find clients. A survey can be done by calling customers to find out whether they were happy with the way the call was answered, whether the customer's query was handled properly and answered promptly, whether the right information was provided, how the person would rate the caller on a scale of 1 to 5. It is always a healthy practice to ask for suggestions from the customer. This telephonic survey itself mostly acts as a tool to build a positive brand in the eyes of customers. To capture what customers feel about your product or service, you can use the fourth tool, which is called a web form. If you have a website, you can create an HTML web form with the questions on what kind of interactions customers have had with your brand. Use short and simple questions that are precise and to the point. A web form gives customers the option to click and post their responses without any hassle, and the responses are automatically tabulated at the back end. You can create a link of your web form and use it as a signature on your service emails. For example, on the closure of any service query, you can send an email to the customer with a link to your web form for getting their views about their interactions. This creates a good impression about your responsiveness and customer care. In case you don't have a web form, you can always use surveymonkey.com or typeform.com to create your own customer survey. They come in free and paid versions. You can create the information fields by shifting the icons to the right and then filling the required questions. You can have multiple choice answers or picture choice or even rating options. You need to have the email ID of customers to send them the forms to fill. Once the customers respond, their answers are found in the response section. You can also send reminders to those who have not responded. The sixth tool that I will recommend to understand customer satisfaction and customer perceptions is called push notifications, which can be used through your website or mobile site. A set of codes is embedded in your website, and customers receive automated web forms once they visit your website in the form of pop ups. These pop ups can have questions and options to give responses. These notifications can be set up in any web page of your choice for quick surveys. Push notifications are used for digital web advertisement also and give you reports of all the interactions that customers have had with the notifications. One such service provider who has worked for my campaigns is Notify Visitors. The seventh tool is SMS using mobile phones. Whether it is after closing a telephone call or otherwise, you can send an SMS to your customers seeking their view about your product or service. You will need to tie up with a service provider which provides short codes such as 56161 or 57575, log into their site, upload your customers' data, and send SMSs. Customers reply to the short code with a yes or a no to your questions, and the responses are captured in the backend. Last but not the least, the eighth tool to understand customer perception is the Net Promoter Score, also called as NPS. This tool is used by asking one simple question to customers: how likely are you to recommend our company to your colleague or friend? The customers are asked to respond by giving a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. Those who rate you between 0 to 6 are called detractors and are unhappy customers. They can damage your brand. Those rating you between 7 and 8 are called passives. They are satisfied but not very enthusiastic customers who may shift to your competitors' products. Those who give you a score between 9 and 10 are promoters. They are loyal customers who will keep buying and refer others. In summary, I would say that it is extremely important to understand the perception that customers have about you. I hope that you have enjoyed this session. So like the video and share it with your friends. Please feel free to share your views or queries on the comment section of YouTube. And thanks a lot for watching this video.